What is up, people? Yes, it is almost time. It is almost the official start of summer. Memorial Day weekend is almost upon us. So, what better way to launch yourself into that good night or that good 3-day weekend than with Sports Frenzy 2.0? He's a conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane. Taping here Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. Dropping as always on a Thursday, May 25th.
That is right. Little bit of a lull in the sports world. Not really for lack of content, but because we're going to start off with the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. The series just aren't entertaining at all.
Yeah, things are just kind of blah.
We're in the Final Four in both the NBA and the NHL, and these series are trash. So we will start off with the trash that is the NBA.
Yep, all hail the Denver Nuggets coming out of the West.
Thank you, Denver! Thank you, Denver!
4-game sweep.
For number one, ending our long national nightmare of actually having to deal with LeBron James. And then number two, once again, I'm going to say it every goddamn week I can until somebody shuts me up. Kendrick Perkins, that racist bastard who ended up losing the MVP for Jokic. How you feeling now, bitch? How you feeling now that Jokic has led his team in a dominant fashion to the NBA Finals, where Joel Embiid is sitting on his ass back home in Philadelphia?
Boo frickin' who?
Screw you, you racist prick.
And hey, now maybe the Nuggets might get recognized for what a solid team that they actually are. I mean, all year they were up at the top. Nobody talked about them.
Nope. Everybody thought, oh, the Lakers, the Warriors are just waiting in the weeds, resting their players.
Yep. Nope.
The Suns get Kevin Durant. Oh, look out for Phoenix.
And meanwhile, Denver just kept doing what they do, playing as a complete team.
Yep, Jamal Murray has really stepped up to give Jokic the help he needed.
Absolutely.
So dominant, once again, 4-game sweep of the Lakers. The Nuggets have got to be the favorites going into the finals. Doesn't matter who wins in the East, but in the East,
the Celtics managed to scrape their way to a win to avoid the sweep.
The one team out of the 4 series we're going to talk about between hockey and basketball where somebody actually stepped up and won a game.
Yeah, after getting trounced in the first 3.
Now, the interesting thing with the Celtics is now they go home for Game 5. They could easily make it 3-2. Then the pivotal game is Game 6.
Yeah.
Because that's on Miami's home court. They are going to have to win that game.
Yeah, you can't let Boston get much more momentum.
Right.
Now, granted, what was it? Boston went on an 18-0 run to get the win. Miami cannot go that cold again.
No.
And that was surprising that they had that long of a scoring drought the way they've been playing.
Yeah. Now, I'm already seeing rumors. The series isn't even over yet, and they're already talking about firing the head coach for the Celtics after his first year, after taking over for the Ime Udoka mess.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're talking about the Nuggets, and I agree with you to a point. But look what just happened with Budenholzer with the Bucks. They, 2 years ago,
won it.
And look what he goes bye-bye.
And he's bye-bye.
Could happen with Malone and the Nuggets in 2 years, too.
Too quick to pull the trigger.
Oh, and then they're just going to recycle because now the Suns are talking about Doc Rivers along with Judge from the Raptors. Yeah. Great. Nick Nurse and Doc Rivers. Sorry, Judge Nurse. I'm wrapped up in professions as last names.
It happens.
Yeah, but Nick Nurse and Doc Rivers are now the supposed finalists for the Phoenix Suns job.
Who knows?
Just recycle them and see what happens. You're going to get the same results. It's called the definition of insanity. And anytime you hire Doc Rivers, that's it.
Yep. He'll get you into the playoffs, but he won't carry you across the finish line.
So, of course, going back to the Lakers and the Nuggets, the after-game press conference was very interesting with poor LeBron pondering his future.
Tired, depressed LeBron. Of course he's going to question his future in that moment.
He's coming back. He said he wants to play with his son. This is what drives me crazy about him. He's a media whore. That's all he's trying to do is gain attention, garner attention for himself. He's already said, I want to play with my son. Well, guess what that means, LeBron? You can't quit.
Nope, not yet. You got to play another 2 years at least.
Yeah. I get tired of this garbage. And we'll get to another one of our favorites later on, another media whore who loves the spotlight and loves the attention, this time in the NFL. And again, here's another guy. In the NBA. Before we leave the NBA. Not a soapbox, but they're calling him first ballot Hall of Famer. Carmelo Anthony retiring.
He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
They're acting like he's one of the greatest scorers of all time.
He's not.
When did he even come close to leading a team to the finals, let alone a championship?
He is not a leader in any way, shape, or form. He's always been that role guy. Whenever he's had a chance to be the man, it never worked out. He is not a first ballot.
This should tell you how the NBA Hall of Fame has sunk almost to the depths of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If Carmelo Anthony is a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer,
then the sport is in more trouble than we thought.
All right, now I'm done with basketball.
Moving on to the ice. Yeah, these series have been not even close. Vegas is up 3-0 on the Stars, and the Panthers are up 3-0 on the Hurricanes. That's all you need to know. There's like nothing going on.
Yeah, and the big headline, if you want to combine the NBA and the NHL, is that Florida could end up becoming the first city ever to have a Stanley Cup champion and an NBA champion in the same year.
Potentially, yeah. Go figure.
Now, something you and I talked about this past Monday at our quarterly Sports Frenzy meeting, the collapse of the franchise known as the Arizona Coyotes.
Yep.
Or Phoenix. Is it Phoenix or Arizona?
What do they have them listed as? It had been the Phoenix Coyotes.
I'm probably confusing the issue. But they've already got a poaching city involved.
Poaching cities.
But one of the poaching cities is even smaller, much smaller than Phoenix. And
they are the Arizona Coyotes.
Okay. My apologies for not having that correct. But of course, a traditional, former, old school NHL city.
Yep. Connecticut wants to move the Coyotes back to Hartford. Okay. You got to put a crap ton of money into your old stadium or build a new one.
Yeah.
But at least they were able to support them for a long time.
Yeah, and we had fun. Of course, I alluded to the fact that the Sports Frenzy crew got together a couple days ago for our quarterly meeting. So we bounced some of these topics around and about the panel. And we talked about what cities deserve expansion franchises or relocated franchises.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks Hartford deserves a hockey team.
Yeah. And Atlanta is also rumored to be trying to get the Coyotes. No, you had the Thrashers. You couldn't support them, and they moved up to Winnipeg to become the new Jets. So Atlanta off the table.
Completely agree. If you couldn't, now there are situations where a city supported a team, and because money talked, like St. Louis. St. Louis did not deserve to lose the Rams.
No.
That was a bullshit move to put football back in Los Angeles.
That's kind of why Hartford lost the Whalers.
Okay. You are more of a hockey guy than me. So if you want to stick up for Hartford, that's fine. I'm not saying no, but there are a lot of viable cities around this country that are waiting to try to support a sports franchise
of some
and
sort.
Of course, Aaron, one of our panelists, brought up a great point in our discussion on Monday that let's find a city that doesn't have a sports franchise yet that could be passionate enough to support one.
Yep.
Hartford had their shot. They lost
by whatever means they lost them.
Let's give another decent, not the Pacific Northwest.
No.
Not Portland, where there's going to be protesters and fires.
And needles everywhere.
Right around the stadium, whatever stadium they build with their eco-friendly building materials. The papier-mâché stadium in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, hopefully it looks like it's going to come to the Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights. Hopefully that series will be exciting and good compared to these semifinals, these conference finals.
The conference championships are abysmal right now.
All right. Some other basketball news. Good for me as a Miami Hurricanes fan. Jim Larranaga gets an extended deal. He will now be with the Miami Hurricanes through 26-27. If he makes it that long.
I was going to say, is this a lifetime contract?
I love Jimmy Larranaga. Got us to the Final Four, so do not bash him, even though I am worried. I am worried. I wonder if this one-year extension comes with a funeral plot plan.
Wow.
Hey, put a U on that gravestone. Hell yeah. Put one on mine. Let's talk NCAA football for a couple minutes. Because couple of interesting resignations this past week. First up, USC athletic director Mike Bohn. B-O-H-N, Dave. You said Bone.
You said Bone.
Resigns under questionable conditions.
It's USC. They've been questionable for how long?
Because this was the guy who basically shepherded their move into the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of the Big Ten, 3 days after taking the position of assistant director of recruiting at the University of Michigan, Glenn Schembechler resigns because of questionable posts on social media, including quotes and statements where he said that slavery really made those people hardier and had more intestinal fortitude. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said.
Really? We're surprised that a Schembechler made comments like this?
Yeah, Schembechler, the Schembechler clan and the Woody Hayes clan get together every couple of years.
They kind of are a clan.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, they put on their pointy white hats and burn the crosses. I was going to say, Shemmy should have to be a slave for a couple years and see how much that builds character.
Yeah, what a dumb ass. He should be in the running for dumbass of the week.
Yeah, I mean, this was just too big of a story to...
You can't just relegate it to the end. This was just...
And why is it these people never learn? We'll have another story coming up when we talk about baseball, about another guy who didn't learn and pays the price.
Yep, we talked about it, a month ago?
Yep. It's just pathetic. Pathetic that people have no filter anymore. I've always said 5-minute rule. 5-minute rule.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we podcast, but I never apologize for what I say because it's always right. But if you're going on social media, you're mad at something or somebody, walk away for 5 minutes. Walk away from the keyboard for 5 minutes. As Humongous said, walk away. Just walk away. If you're still pissed after 5 minutes, go ahead and type it. Because that means you really, truly feel that way.
Yeah.
But you've got to have that cool down period. And this is the kind of stuff that I believe gets put out there because people do not stop, do not think, do not filter, do not take the cool down period.
Absolute insanity.
Now, this final little note here. Yes, it's going to be an abbreviated show this week because, again, not a lot going on. Lot in the weekend edition, though.
Weekend edition
for your
is pretty
Memorial
packed.
Day weekend, we are packed. And we have got a lot of great stuff and a lot of tragic, sad stuff. Boy, moments of silence in the weekend edition is going to be rough. It's going to be rough.
It's going to be brutal.
But this kind of ties in college football and the pros. We've been talking about this story here because it's popped up again. The travesty of the story of Matt Araiza, the punter, the punt god. Oh, well, in their magnanimity, San Diego State has officially cleared Matt Araiza. He is no longer on investigation on that college campus for the gang rape that destroyed years of his potential career with the NFL.
It took way too long for everything to come down.
The wheels of justice love to grind slowly and grind people up.
In certain respects.
Right.
Others you can fly through and we'll clear or convict. Others just, seriously, it's taken this long. Unacceptable.
Good news, though, just broke today. Matt Araiza has a workout scheduled with the New York Jets.
Yep.
So that's got to suck for the Bills because the Bills were the team initially that were going to sign him. Yeah, and they were going to sign him. And because of public pressure, social media pressure, they cut him. And now their division rival could end up with him.
Yep.
I just want the kid to get a job. I want to see if he's really this good.
Yeah.
I want him to get a job.
He needs the opportunity to come back from this travesty of justice.
Yep. Completely agree. So we'll take a break, quick promo break. Since I started the segue into the NFL.
We'll begin with the NFL.
Yep. And then we'll go into baseball as we have to, unfortunately, each and every week here.
Yep.
Since our teams both suck.
We'll hit our NASCAR bit.
Yep. We're back to regular racing after the All-Star race. Starting the second half of the regular season with the Coca-Cola 600. So there's some good stuff coming, kids. Short but sweet this week.
That's right.
So
it's all good.
Dave and I, after a quick promo break, we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Patrick, not Pat Mahomes, Super Bowl champion and MVP. And when I'm not trying to keep my wife and brother in line, I'm listening to Sports Frenzy on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Stitcher, Amazon, and Audible. Brittany, come on, stop posting on Twitter. Jackson, will you please get off TikTok? Man, it's times like these I really miss doing stupid, silly State Farm ads with Coach Reed.
Happy pre-Memorial Day weekend from Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
And I am the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
Here we are recording May 24th, 2023. Dropping, as always, on Thursday, this time May 25th on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Overcast, CastBox, and Stitcher!
Check out the Facebook page, as always, for our weekly NASCAR picks.
Don't forget the weekend edition.
Absolutely. You will find links to both the sports edition and the weekend edition on the Facebook page. Posting our NASCAR picks on Facebook each and every week. Baseball picks each and every week. In the fall, football picks.
Lots of football picks.
I will try to restrain myself this year.
Yeah, right. As he says every year.
Coming off a year where I think I broke 400.
Yeah. It was supposed to have been a kinder, gentler pick season. He picked angry kids. When he doesn't do well, he adds more games the following week.
I have to find ways to make up ground. The only way I can do it is more picks. More picks.
All right. Speaking of NFL, the segue from the last segment. Some news. The owners are meeting. We knew it was coming. The greedy bastards pandered to Al Michaels, crying like a bitch over poor Thursday night games. So there's a 4 or 5 week stretch?
5 weeks. Yep.
Where they can flex games from Sunday to Thursday. But they have to give, what good does it do to give 28 days notice?
Yeah,
how do you know that
notice.
Game is going to still be valid? It's absolutely stupid. It does not take into account your fans who are buying tickets ahead of time, specifically for family outings, for particular games that they want to see. Maybe they want to be on the road and travel to see their team play somebody else. You're screwing them right there. Again, I don't care if you're given 28 days notice. That's not enough. It's horrible. And it hoses the players because there's that much less time they have to prepare. Absolutely stupid. If you want to cry player safety with some rule changes, this throws that all out the window.
Yeah, this along with what we discussed last week with Peacock getting an exclusive wildcard weekend game. This shows the NFL does not care about the fans.
Not at all.
They are screwing the fans. I know we're talking football, but I just want to tie a quick baseball segue in here because it applies to what we're talking about. Do you know this week, if you wanted to watch the Yankees play baseball, Monday through Friday only, just Monday through Friday, you had to have 4 different streaming services?
Are you kidding me?
You had to have Apple for Friday night, Peacock, the Yes Network, and Amazon.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. So don't ever tell me sports care about their fans because they don't.
And this is just another nail in fandom's coffin. Ticket prices are already stupid ridiculous because of the escalating greed of the owners and the players.
And you're starting to see a little bit of the repercussions on that because I know the Cubs have not sold out very many games this year. And when the Cubs aren't selling out, that should be a warning sign to the entire league.
Yeah, that people are fed up with poor teams and overpriced tickets.
Yeah, poor product with overpriced tickets. In addition to the Flex Thursday, something good, the owners did approve the 3rd/emergency quarterback.
Yep, so you're not going to wind up with the abysmal situation you had for the 49ers who lost both of their quarterbacks and then wound up having to go back to the Brock Purdy, who couldn't throw the ball, and it was just handoff, 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 handoff.
And didn't Christian McCaffrey, for a couple plays at least,
tried to play quarterback?
Right.
Yeah, it was just an awful situation.
Right. Now, of course, this third emergency quarterback slot looks like it could go to somebody who used to be on special teams, because the NFL, talking about putting a nail in the coffin, they are putting a nail in the coffin of the kickoff return.
Yep, the kicking game is dying. It's on a respirator, kids.
Now the owners have approved a fair catch on kickoffs within the 25-yard line. It will come out to the 25 if it is fair caught within the 25-yard line.
Yeah, trying to reduce concussions because they were up on kickoffs. But yet the injuries on kickoffs were less than 5% of the plays or something like that. The special teams all had their numbers and backed up the statistics, but the NFL on the concussions didn't have solid statistics to back them up.
Yeah, I'm glad you qualified that by saying it was on the concussion numbers were just on kickoffs, because I figured, the numbers were up because of Tua.
Should have been.
But you brought up a really good point. I want to go back to the flexing of the Thursday night games. You brought up a really good point, and you and Aaron discussed this at our meeting on Monday. It barely passed. It got the bare minimum amount of votes. 3/4 of the owners, 24 out of the 32. 8 dissented.
Yeah.
Including, I believe, our Bears.
Yes, they did.
It looked like most of that division said no. Yeah. But 3/4.
They just got it through.
Yep.
Ugh. Frustrating.
The GOAT, Tom Brady, is officially now, we talked about it a week or two ago, he is now officially a minority owner in the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep. Doesn't he also have a minority interest in the Las Vegas Aces, the WNBA franchise out there?
Maybe. It's a bad investment, but he's been known to make bad investments. He was in crypto there a couple years ago.
Yes, he was.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to say the WNBA is a bad investment. Yay, girls. Yay, women. Yay, female basketball.
Yeah, but not the Aces, because they're the problem with their idiot coach.
Which we talked about last week.
Yep. So, some good news for the 49ers. Brock Purdy had a minor procedure on that torn ligament in his elbow, and he's projected to possibly be ready to go for week 1.
They need that. Because otherwise they're going to have to do this whole tightrope, high wire act with Trey Lance starting the season. And then if he looks halfway decent, what do you do with him? Do you trade him with high value? Do you sit him and keep him and put Brock Purdy in? Do you sit Brock Purdy and let Trey Lance play it out?
It's an ugly situation that they put themselves in.
Aaron Rodgers is hurt.
Oh, his strained calf. Yeah, he's not used to working out this hard this early. How many years has it been since he's actually been to an OTA?
I'm sorry. I will apologize in January if I'm wrong, but I still think this is going to be an abject disaster. You're going to have another 500 season, barely better than what you did with Zach Wilson.
And you're going to have
the prima donna of all prima donnas.
He's going to be butthurt, and he's going to be sulking on the sidelines, and he's going to be pitching his usual hissy fits.
Oh, and he had to have his little charismatic press conference talking about Jersey Shore, the show. Remember the old MTV show?
Vaguely. I
Talking
never
about,
watched
I
an
know
episode.
Jersey Shore. And I remember going to a club one time when Paulie D was spinning records.
And that's got what to do with playing for the Jets?
He's LeBron James. He's another guy who thinks that we can't get enough of everything that he spews from his mouth. You're
just
not
gives
that
us more
interesting,
fodder.
Aaron. You're actually an idiot.
Yeah, it gives us more fodder to pile upon your stupidity.
Speaking of stupidity, this happened right after last week's episode. The Steelers give Mitch Trubisky an extension
to be a backup. Yep.
They reworked the deal, tweak it, so now he is committed to the Steelers for 3 years, 2023 through 2025, but he gets $8 million guaranteed the first year.
Yeah, just to sit on his ass.
We'll have more on the Steelers later, by the way.
Yes, we will. So I don't know if this falls into the dumbass category, but probably not. Owners are going to be extending Roger Goodell through March of 2027.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't have that written down on my prep sheet is because I think we discussed this a month or two ago, that it was already looming.
Yeah, it's there.
Again, he's making them money by screwing over the fans.
There you go. Which is why the fans boo his ass at every opportunity.
All right, moving on to baseball. Before we get to our teams, why? But we'll do it anyway. The A's finally, after a few weeks, I don't know why, they had to hem and haw about it, the A's finally fire their broadcaster, Glenn Kuiper, after that ridiculous, horrific mistake he made in Kansas City.
Yeah. Why did it take them so long to make this decision?
That was not a simple mistake. That was not a simple gaffe. Again, if
they're not even anywhere close to be able to claim it was a mistake.
Yeah. You're talking about the Negro Baseball Museum in Kansas City.
Versus the derogatory term that nobody should utter.
Yeah, a simple mistake would be Negro or Degro. But when you pull out the other N word, that means that word is close to your heart, close to your brain, and that means you are not a good person and you should be shit canned. And finally, the A's do shit can Glenn Kuiper. Now, should we talk about the dead bird as we segue to our teams?
Yeah, it happened again.
I have not seen a really clear camera angle on this.
No, he didn't obliterate it the way that Randy Johnson did.
Of course, we're talking about a game here this past week where the White Sox played the Guardians, and a bird was killed by a hard ground ball from Cleveland's Will Brennan.
Yeah, this is the second bird killed within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Zach Gallen.
Zach Gallen, pitcher
for the Diamondbacks.
For the Diamondbacks, on a pitch, hit a bird as it flew in front of the plate.
This is where the term bird brain comes from. The birds are dumb. They don't know to stay away when big, large, grown men are throwing around an orb at 100 miles an hour.
Oh, the craziness of it all.
Now, of course, earlier here, we had a very contentious series between the Yankees and the Reds, believe it or not. Reds manager David Bell tossed on May the 19th.
What is it about the Yankees that's bringing this out of?
It's the sticky stuff. And it's going around in both teams in New York.
Yes, it is.
We had Max Scherzer with the Mets. Now we've had Domingo Germán. And this situation involved Clark Schmidt. He was checked for the quote-unquote sticky stuff, which, of course, I have been known to use on a long, lonely night. Oh, wait, I don't use it. It comes out of me. Never mind. But Clark Schmidt after the check was allowed to continue, and that set off Reds manager David Bell. So he gets tossed.
Yep. And speaking of the Yankees pitchers with sticky stuff, who'd been known to use it, Garrett Cole hits 2,000 strikeouts, the third fastest to do so. Is it really that big of an accomplishment in this era of baseball where it's swing for the fences or strike out? I don't think it's kind of impressive, but third fastest in this era, it's not that impressive.
Now, the one thing I will say to balance it out is that you're right. Everything you said is absolutely right. The swing and the miss, home run or strikeout. But because they pull the pitchers quicker, that might temper things and make it a little more even.
Potentially. But also Mr. Spider Tack for the first part of his career, racking up a lot.
All right, so the Cubs, just coming off a miserable stretch, finally win a game against the Mets last night as we tape. 21-26. Third place in the NL Central, 5 behind the Milwaukee Brewers.
Sox are still mired deep. 5.5 back of the Twins at 21-30. They have been playing better of late.
7-3 in their last 10.
Yep, 8-3 over the last 11. Taking it to the Guardians and the Royals. Again, in division, a division that sucks. They should be beating these two teams.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As badly as the Sox have played, they're only 5.5 out. And Minnesota, barely above 500.
Two
the
games.
Only team in the division above 500.
Yeah, and they're 2 games above 500.
Right.
It's a horrible, horrible division.
And the NL Central is not much better because the Pirates are starting to turn into the Pirates. So they're pretty close to hitting 500, dropping below, leaving the Brewers as the only team in that division that will be above 500.
Yep. Yeah, the Pirates came out on fire, and now they're walking the plank.
Because you got to spend some money. You have to spend some. And again, we praise Craig Counsell as the manager of the Brewers. I didn't realize that team's got 3/5 of its starting rotation on the IL right now.
Yeah.
And that's their strength, is their pitching.
And they're still managing to kind of keep it together.
They're winning enough to stay on top in that, again, putrid division. Can't all be the AL East where every team is good above 500.
Yep.
Jesus.
And even in that division, there's going to be a clunker game, as we saw the Blue Jays destroy the Tampa Rays
20-1.
20-1. And the Jays scored 9 in the top of the 9th. That had to have been a point where the Rays put in a position player to pitch because they were down 11-1. At that point, why are you going to kill another one of your regular pitchers?
And you figured the Rays were going to cool off. So
yeah, and
this
team
happens.
Every team has this happen to them.
Yeah,
at some point during the season.
Yeah. Now I was going to say in the AL West, you've got 4 teams above 500, and then you've got the Oakland A's,
exactly,
who could end up. I have not looked to verify this, but they could end up setting the record for futility.
Yeah, for the fewest wins.
Last time I checked, they were 10-40.
Yep,
10-40.
No bueno.
That's why this baseball contest we do every year, this year is a little odd, is that you want to pick every team in the AL West when they're playing the Oakland A's.
Exactly.
So we're burning through the AL West like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be tough down the stretch.
Yeah. All right, let's move to golf because, of course, this past weekend was the PGA Championship, the second of the 4 majors. And oh, look.
Oh,
who? Golfer, number 1, won. And number 2, the man, the myth, the legend, who I think is the best golfer out there, bounces back from a rough year or so of injury.
Yep.
Mr. Brooks Koepka at 9 under wins his 5th major championship.
Good for him. Now,
I like Brooksy. I do. I'm jealous as hell of him in his life. But
yeah, no kidding. The only thing that would have made it sweeter is if he would have actually worn his live shirt.
Right. Like Phil Mickelson does.
Yeah.
Some of the other live guys were a little bit more, I don't know, what do you want to call them? Corporate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Brooks just went about his business.
Bryson DeChambeau had a great showing.
He had a good showing as
Another
well.
live guy,
so there you go. I think it's great.
Supposedly old Rory McIlroy gave him a big hug in the parking lot.
Oh, in the parking lot. Ooh.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be caught on camera.
Oh, there's cameras everywhere now. Are you kidding me? But now, of course, the big news outside of Koepka was the Cinderella story of Michael Block. Michael Block, a club pro from California, 46 years old, finishes at +1, top 15, which gets him into next year's PGA Championship. He wins $288,000, and the reason why he made it, a hole-in-one on the last round on the 15th.
There you go.
Good to see
You gotta love it.
story, the everyman story coming through like this.
Yep.
Very cool.
Club pro, good for him.
Everybody's cheering him. So guess who we don't need? We don't need Tiger Woods. And guess what? The U.S. Open, the 3rd major coming up. Bye-bye, Tiger. Arthritis surgery. I believe on an ankle.
Yep. Yeah, he's done.
The Tiger Woods era is closing very fast, kids. Very quickly. And guess what? I can't wait. I can't wait. Now somehow we
it's
can
a
just
self-destruction that he brought upon himself.
if we could just somehow have Rory McIlroy fall into a tank of piranhas, life would be good again in the golf world. But congrats to Brooks Koepka. I just love Brooks Koepka. And we talked about it a couple years ago. I know they're getting along now. They're both in the Live Golf tournament now.
But the Koepka DeChambeau feud was the best thing to happen.
Yeah, but again, they both played well here at the PGA Championship. I like to see this.
Very
we
good stuff.
We don't need Tiger Woods. Now, tying into the whole Tiger Woods thing, but this one to me is a little more rough to handle, a little more sad because Rafael Nadal is now officially out for the French Open in tennis.
Yep.
And he is saying he'll try to get through next year, but that's it. He thinks he might be able to get through 2024, but that's it for him. If he's not playing the French Open, which of course he is dominated. I mean, greatest of all time, no question about it, on the clay at Roland Garros. I can talk French.
That's not what she said.
Voulez-vous coucher à soir? Lady Marmalade. See, I can talk French. I talk French real good.
Anyway.
But it's, again, between what we've discussed the last couple of years with the COVID restrictions on Djokovic, and now he was banned from playing in certain majors, and now Nadal being out because of age, because of health, injuries, and of course, Federer's done. So this era of these top 3 male tennis players, again, like we talked about with Tiger Woods, it's coming to a close.
To an end. That's been a hell of a battle between those 3.
And where the hell does tennis go now? You got no Serena Williams. You're out with Federer, almost out with Nadal. Djokovic is it. They got to hope he stays healthy. Yeah. He can carry the sport for the next couple years until
we get somebody.
Some fresh faces, some young faces stepping up.
Somebody who has the desire to be dominant.
Yeah. But I have not heard of anybody coming down the road, down the pike
No.
that's going to take over either on the male or the female side.
Yeah, there's nobody.
So again, with golf, I think we're in
Golf
good shape.
is healthy. Golf is very healthy.
With golf, we're in good shape. That's why I have been fine with Tiger Woods being out of the spotlight, even though everybody in the media is going, boo, boo, no, we don't have Tiger to talk about. And
Gee, how about you learn somebody else's name?
I mean, you got Scotty Scheffler, you've got DeChambeau, you have got Koepka, you have got so many big names out there right now, good young players in their 20s or their early 30s. This should be the golden era of golf without Tiger Woods.
We don't need one person who dominates.
No.
That's not fun. You want the intrigue week in and week out.
And we have it. It's just the media just won't let go of Eldrick Tiger Woods and his balding, ugly ass and his lawsuits with his ex-girlfriends and wives. It just makes for great TV.
Yeah.
Whatever. Then put him on a Netflix special. Put him out to pasture. We want to watch real good golf. And that means he's out. And we're out for segment 2, by the way.
Segment 3 coming up. We have NASCAR. We've got moments of silence.
Oh, we got dumbasses.
You know, coming out the wazoo.
Yep. Talk a little bit of the Indy 500 coming up. So we're not done yet, kids. We're not letting you go yet. One more great, glorious segment here on Sports Frenzy, the sports edition coming up. Feeling mildly fatigued? Need a day off even if you just took one a few days ago? Make $30 million a year but just don't want to work for it? You need to join the NBA Load Management Club right now. When they're not napping or texting, guest lecturers Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving will describe foolproof ways to earn tens of thousands of dollars by not doing anything. Sports Frenzy 2.0, available on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, is currently negotiating with LeBron James to bring his popular How to Make the Hall of Fame Without Really Trying webinar live and in person to the Load Management Club. Thanks again to Sports Frenzy 2.0 and all you apathetic fans out there for making us a success. Get your motor running. Head out to the racetrack. Looking for adventure. And that's Sports Frenzy 2.0. I thought that was pretty good.
That was entertaining.
A little bit of Steppenwolf for you, baby.
A little entertaining for the kids.
And by the way, I know it's not the weekend edition, but we forgot to sing our new farewell song last week. We have to make sure.
Yes, we do. We totally forgot that.
Sports Frenzy 2.0 taping here on May the 24th, 2023. This will hit May the 25th. He's a conquistador, Dave Heights.
And those were the dulcet tones of the maestro, Kevin Crane.
We got to talk about racing. It's Memorial Day weekend coming up, kids. So you know what that means. It is the best, most awesomest racing weekend of the year.
Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600.
Le Mans too, right?
And Le Mans. No, not Le Mans.
Or
Monte Carlo.
Okay. That's right.
The Côte d'Azur.
That's right, because I saw a picture of all the yachts coming in.
Yes.
And they said, it's got to be race weekend.
Yep. Formula One running the streets of Monaco.
All right, kids. Your Uncle Dave has got a recap of last weekend's All-Star race for you before we move on to the stuff that really matters, the races that really matter.
Yep. No, it was the historic return to North Wilkesboro Speedway. Much anticipated. I loved them going back there. I want the track back on the schedule. But that being said, the All-Star race was boring as hell. Kyle Larson dominated the hell out of everybody. He was hooked up. Nobody could touch him. The problem was nobody had the balls to put the bumper to anybody to move anybody out of the way. It was just, oh hum, ho hum, follow the leader, no action on the track, no cautions. I mean, it was one caution maybe outside of the competition yellow that they threw. It was really a blah exhibition style race. They had no desire to bump and run or do anything. It was really pathetic.
And now you know me. When it comes to racing, I am like Cup Series and that's it. I rarely, if ever, I actually watch part of the truck race. And they had some good racing.
The truck racing was fantastic.
Yeah. Larson was in that. Chastain was in that.
Yeah, Larson won the truck event.
Yeah. Yeah, they were going 3-4 wide.
Yeah. That was exciting. They were going 3 wide on the Cup and the All-Star race, but there was no action at all. And they got to do something with the next gen cars because they just can't pass. For whatever, it's not been good racing.
No, I will admit, I know it makes me look bad as a sports reporter / podcaster, but I think the last 3 races, if you include the All-Star race, I've tuned out about halfway through.
Yeah, they're just not exciting.
No, not at all. Now, Daniel Suarez had the pole. Yep. But again, like you said, Kyle Larson dominates 3rd All-Star race win for him.
Yep, ties Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt. So,
well, last week we talked about Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, hinting, flirting with returning. Now, guess who wants to come back? Possibly, maybe, Casey Kane.
Oh, no.
It never works. It never, ever, 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 ever works.
And out of those 3, Kane is the last one that should be coming back. The least talented of that
what
group.
Did we just see a couple weeks ago with Ryan Newman?
Poor equipment, poor showing.
Because you're not getting a seat in a top-level car.
No.
You're just not.
Not going to happen. So,
should we talk about Bubba Wallace?
Which one?
The finger or the in-car communication debacle?
The alleged in-car communication debacle, where supposedly somebody broke through their radio communication and told him, "Hey, asshole, you suck. Go home. We don't want you here." Idiots abound. We talked about it before, the stupidity of people, that humanity is a cesspool.
But now, could this be a new situation?
That's the other thing I was just going to bring up. That's why I said allegedly happened, that they have to investigate. And then, of course, I guess it's all right if you're being interviewed on camera and you flip somebody off, if it's a buddy of yours and it's done as a mock, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
There's no ill intent. No, you cannot do that. I don't care. There has to be a repercussion.
It's supposedly a family-friendly sport, right?
Exactly.
But Bubba gets away with whatever he wants. And he's been running better lately, so...
He has. Second in the All-Star race. Right. Ran really solid all night.
Yep.
So maybe he's starting to figure it out.
Now, I know how Dave feels. We heard him last week when the NFL announced that they were going to put wild card weekend playoff game on Peacock. Now the rumors are that we are looking at possibly the entire Xfinity series going exclusively to streaming and a mid-season package of 5 to 6 races also going exclusively to streaming for the Cup Series. Rumors are supposedly frontrunner for both is Amazon.
You are destroying the fan base. Nobody is going to pay to watch a Cup race any more than they are for cable. Not gonna happen. Especially Xfinity, nobody gives a rat's ass. That's the one that should be on regular network TV to try and get the ratings. And your Cup fans are not going to shell out money, especially with this next-gen car where the racing's been horrible. Bad idea. Money-grubbing bastards. Again, alienating your fans. Don't like it? Won't support it.
Saw a very interesting story today on Yahoo, my daily, weekday sports newsletter. And again, I recommend anybody signs up for this. I'm not a big Yahoo fan otherwise because they're very left-leaning and their news, everything else, their homepage just makes you want to puke. But their sports staff, very good, very knowledgeable. NASCAR guys know what they're talking about. But this was a general sports commentary. And the title of the article was "Don't You Miss Cable Now?"
Exactly.
Because we talked about in the last segment where you had to jump all over the place if you're a Yankees fan this week to watch Yankees games and how much you would have had to pay for a monthly subscription to those services. Now we're talking about NASCAR going with the Xfinity Series exclusively to streaming. The Cup Series putting races exclusively on streaming. And the point of the article was, with all this coming down, Peacock now having a playoff game in the NFL, don't you miss the days of basic cable?
Exactly.
If cable hadn't priced themselves out, if cable hadn't forced you to pay for boxes and equipment, this shit never would have happened. Seriously, this shit never would have happened. We would all been happy spending $80 a month.
Yep. Those boxes do not cost you a thing.
That's why when you quit the service, they basically tell you throw them away, recycle them. But again, money grab destroyed the cable industry, and now
it's going to destroy all sports. People are getting fed up.
And of course, we talked about this months ago. Rumor is now that ESPN is ramping up their exclusive streaming package, including the ESPN channels. Of course, ESPN Plus does not include ESPN, ESPN2.
No.
But now ESPN wants in on this because of people dropping off of cable. Now they want their piece of the pie. So now they're going to start moving everything over to an exclusive streaming service.
And they're probably going to be one of the most expensive.
We're already paying $10 a month. Whether you have YouTube TV or Comcast, you're paying $10 a month for ESPN's channels.
And not everything.
And if you think they're going to charge you $10 a month,
you're insane.
It's going to be double that. It's going to be at least $20 a month for this exclusive ESPN streaming package. And at some point, you're going to break the system again. You know what people are going to do? They're going to go out, drink beer, cook brats and burgers.
And listen to shit on the radio where they can find it.
Put a CD in! Just not the Smashing Pumpkins. Put a CD in, hang out outside. You don't need this shit. Especially if they start gouging us for money and prices, exorbitant fees.
Yep, it's
walk away. Walk away. Humongous said it. Walk away.
As much as I love my sports and watching everything,
right,
I don't want to have to pay extra.
Look at what I've done with the Cubs. I'm a Cubs fan.
Yep, you don't watch them.
I'm not paying for the marquee network. I will not. I have a backbone. I have integrity. And I'm not trying to brag about it, but I will not pay for that piece of shit marquee network.
There's not
I will
enough
not.
on it to make it worthwhile.
No. All right, so we should move on
Especially for how much they want.
Right. And they never followed through because of all the problems with Bally Sports and the bankruptcy and everything with setting that up as a standalone streaming service. But I still wasn't going to pay the projected $20 a month
That was
for it.
ridiculous.
Need to talk about the other big Memorial Day race, the Indy 500. We've got a pole sitter.
Yep, Alex Palou, record run, puts Ganassi on pole for the third straight year. He, what was it? An average 4-lap run, 234.217 miles an hour. Only 0.007 of a mile an hour faster than the second place qualifier VK, who runs for Ed Carpenter Racing. So
Now, there was a horrific crash this week.
Yep.
And I believe that opened the door for Bobby Rahal to come back.
Graham Rahal.
Graham Rahal.
Yeah. What was it? Stephen Wilson fractured his back in a late race. So Graham Rahal, who was ousted by 0.007 of a mile an hour by his teammate, wound up getting this deal put together to go into Wilson's car. Rahal drives a Honda. He's going to be driving a Chevy-powered car. So there was a lot of sponsorship deals that had to be worked out to make this happen. Calmer heads prevailed to get the guy a ride, as he should have gotten. So good for everybody involved to make it work out. See, two opposing sides can come together to a positive resolution without any animosity.
That's your life lesson for the week from your Uncle Dave.
Listen up, Washington, you jackasses.
So now we move on to Sunday night's race. Start of the second half of the NASCAR Cup season. The Coca-Cola 600. Charlotte. An extra stage. More chances for stage points for those of us who have competitions. Alex Bowman has been cleared. He is coming back from the Coca-Cola 600.
After saying last week he didn't know when he was going to be coming back.
He is medically cleared, and he will be back for the 600.
All right. Good
Hell
luck.
of a race. Hell of a race to come back for.
Yeah.
Coming off an injury. But the Coca-Cola 600. We have got 7 of our 8 panelists with their picks in. I'm going to let Dave start since he and the Elder Statesman have the same pick.
Yep. The kid's on a hell of a roll. It's hard to go against Kyle Larson. He's run very well at Charlotte, especially in the 600. Team knows how to make adjustments from day into night, as we saw them stay on top of the car at the All-Star race at Wilkesboro. I got to go with them.
Bill and Nick take his teammate, Chase Elliott. Sorry, but I'm saving all my Chase Elliott's
for the road courses.
Starting possibly next week and the week after. Maybe. Doug, we have had issues with Doug's picks this week.
Doug doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
But he's getting Kyle Busch whether he likes it or not. And that's me being nice. I could have given him Brad Keselowski,
who we sent in last week after being told there was no pick for the All-Star race.
Aaron takes Denny Hamlin, and I take Ross Chastain. I was very impressed with his performance last year, even though it didn't end up well. Stage points-wise, he was up front for a vast majority of the race. Trackhouse has good speed with the new car. I like the Kyle Larson pick a lot, but I am taking the Melon Farmer.
There
Ross
you go.
Chastain. Mrs. C will get her pick in soon.
Yep.
Not the deadline yet, so she's good to go.
Yep. Actually, I flirted with Chastain and Elliott and Hamlin.
Yep.
So it's
I
the
did
four
too.
there. You really couldn't go wrong with any of those picks.
Yep. And of course, check out all 8 of our picks here tomorrow afternoon on our Facebook page. So we have one ridiculously important, impactful moment of silence
Uber.
in terms of professional sports.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to another one that is very impactful in terms of a great
human interest story.
Right. But of course, Dave and I are Bears fans. We do not shy away from the fact we are Bears fans, and we do not shy away from the fact that we love Walter Payton. Sweetness to us is the ultimate icon in professional sports, in the NFL in particular.
Yep.
Growing up, we watched him.
What he did on the field and everything he did for the betterment of humanity off the field.
But
But
there was always the looming specter we heard from our parents, from people of the previous generation, that you might love Walter Payton, but you never got to see Jim Brown play football.
Yeah, Jim Brown as a pure football player was legendary. Watching the footage that we've gotten to see, he was a wrecking machine on the field. Not only that, but again, an icon when it came to social issues. He was there leading the charge, standing up for what he believed in.
He went to Hollywood, became an actor.
Big actor.
Yep.
Great in what he had done. Lots of good roles.
Dirty Dozen?
Dirty Dozen.
But again, it's hard for a generation involving Dave and I in our age
generation
group,
removed from him being a player.
Right. We never got to see Jim Brown play. He walked away from the game early, like Barry Sanders.
Yep.
If you want to make a comparison, that younger people, our generation, and maybe the next one younger, could relate to. So while I can't acknowledge Jim Brown as the greatest of all time because of Walter Payton, the legend, it's like Babe Ruth in baseball.
Yeah.
It's like the legend. Everything that you heard from the generations before you scream, this guy was unbelievable.
Yeah. So the thoughts and prayers to the family and friends of Jim Brown, one of the legendary players of the game. All right. Also, the human interest side. Rick Hoyt passed away at 61 from cerebral palsy. Why are we talking about him, you ask? He and his dad, Dick, were Team Hoyt. His dad pushed his wheelchair in 32 Boston marathons, not to mention other marathons they ran, triathlons that they did. I mean, his dad made this kid's dreams come true. Unfortunately, Dick passed away in 2021, but Rick just recently passed away. Great story. They were an institution in Boston of the marathon. They have a statue at the start line. That's how impactful they have been in that race. So thoughts and prayers to the Hoyt family and friends.
I'll tell you what we're going to do because of these moments of silence. And I know we would normally joke about doing a pivot. We're going to cut segment 3 short. We're going to do a 4th segment. Even though it's still a shorter episode of Sports Frenzy, I don't feel right.
No, we can't on this.
Yeah, the pivot doesn't feel right. So let's take a promo break. walk away for 30 seconds or a minute, and then we'll come back with our irreverent stuff, and we'll wrap up this show with Dumbass or Not with your Uncle Dave. But these moments of silence, just very important, very impactful. So think about them for the next minute. Take a break. Pause the podcast if you have to. Come back. And then we'll get back into being the cursing, swearing,
irreverent douchebags that we can be.
There you go, kids. We'll be right back in just a minute.
Hello, friends. Are you tired of the boring sports analysis you get from the major outlets? If so, join the Maestro and the Conquistador for a riveting discussion of all sports topics on Sports Frenzy 2.0. Available on Spotify, Google, Apple, and wherever podcasts are available. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite game show of all time, the Red Foreman Dumbass or Not, starring the maestro Kevin Crane.
And our contestant, as always, the bright, the brilliant, the charismatic, your Uncle Dave, Dave the Conquistador Height, who will be choosing among our 5 contestants this week to decide if any or all are worthy of being crowned Red Foreman Dumbasses of the Week.
Let us begin.
We were talking about streaming and its impact on sports earlier in this episode of Sports Frenzy 2.0. So let's continue that theme, shall we?
Let's.
YouTube TV craps out at the end of Game 1 of the Heat and Celtics.
Oh!
Many viewers report that what happened was an ad for The Little Mermaid was running on a perpetual loop instead of them going back to the game.
Oh, wow. That's just bad.
So these companies,
they don't
seem
care.
to think they're ready. YouTube TV, of course, future home of the NFL's. Boy, if this happens with the NFL Sunday Ticket, are you kidding me? With the money people have to pay for that?
Are we going to have this Heidi issue over and over and over now?
Well, this is a technical glitch. This isn't like the live golf thing we talked about.
Where somebody
recently.
pushed the button.
Well, said, yeah, we're cutting away. This was a technical glitch. But again,
still unacceptable.
If you are going to expect people to pay this kind of money,
there's no issue for this technical glitch if there is a human being that's monitoring the situation.
Dumbass or not?
Dumbass.
All right.
This is what you're going to get when AI takes over, by the way.
Can I tell you something really funny? USAA, I'm a member, kind of an ancillary member.
Yeah.
They have a community where they send you, like once a month. We have a question for our community.
Yeah.
And they'll give you like a $5 Amazon gift card if you randomly get picked, right? This month's was, how do you feel about AI? And because I hear all of your worries and all of your paranoia, I went on right away and I said, basically, have you ever heard of Skynet?
Have you seen the Terminator?
I don't think I'm going to win the $5 Amazon gift card this month.
Maybe you will.
Wouldn't that be something? All right. We talked earlier about Mitch Trubisky getting an extension as the backup quarterback to Kenny Pickett with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But, of course, the egomaniac, former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger couldn't just stay retired and be quiet. Had to tell the aforementioned Kenny Pickett, I didn't want you to succeed. And then, of course, does the humble brag and say, oh, well, that's on me. I'm a bad person, and I really apologize for thinking that about you. Why even bring it up? Why even bring it up?
Dumbass for mentioning your feelings about it. This is you putting yourself back in the spotlight, being the media whore. Your ego will not let you just fade away, even though you're a complete dumbass and showing the world what a dumbass you are. You have to open your dumbass mouth.
He's Aaron Rodgers. I get that the NFL quarterback has to be somewhat of an egomaniac.
But when you're done, you're done.
But we never heard this kind of crap from Peyton Manning or Tom Brady.
No.
It's insecurity is what I think it is.
Your really good quarterbacks, your team leaders, true team leaders, do not do this type of thing.
No. So, 2 for 2?
How many times did I say dumbass about him?
Yeah, but we can't carry over. So,
yes,
I get
he's
one?
A dumbass.
Okay.
We're 2 for 2 here.
Okay, so I don't know if you watched any of the PGA Championship, but I did. I love the majors in golf.
Yeah, I was out doing yard work all day Sunday.
So, it started off on ESPN early, in the morning, and then CBS, I believe, took over.
Yeah.
Because I had to deal with Scott Van Pelt, SVP, versus Jim Nance, night and day. A class act versus
a dipshit.
Yeah. Somebody who everybody thinks is just a nice, sweet guy who's actually another egomaniacal dumbass in Scott Van Pelt. But while ESPN was covering the PGA Championship, of course, they had some weather issues about early to midway through. I had to listen to SVP and his crew fawn all over a kid. Because, of course, oh, look, the kids are having fun out there, even in this bad weather. Isn't that great? Isn't that just awesome? A kid is spinning his mom's umbrella, licking it, spinning it round and round with his tongue out on the umbrella, the dirty, miserable umbrella. And they're all like, isn't this what life is all about? Isn't this wonderful? Isn't this just childlike innocence?
You have nothing better to do. Oh my God, that's painful.
I would be like, would you stop licking my goddamn umbrella, you filthy bastard of a child? Show some tact, show some manners, show some respect. You're going to get a disease, and then I'm going to have to pay the bill. I'm going to have to pay the bill. I don't care if ESPN thinks it's cute. I am sorry, I've never licked an umbrella in my life.
Neither have I.
If it rained, maybe I'd cup my hands and I would drink a little rainwater.
Or you just stand there with your mouth open and let it rain in. I've never licked anything.
This is half a step away from going to a car and licking the hood of a car. Would you do that? Would you lick the hood of a car in the rain?
This is licking a flagpole in the dead of winter.
The only time I'm licking the hood of a car in the rain is if Tawny Katane was straddling it.
And it was...
Because I might get a runoff from her supple juices. I am not condoning a child licking an umbrella, a dirty, filthy umbrella.
Oh my God.
Sorry, that one just personally hit hard for me.
Covering that and focusing on that and making that the story of the weather delay is absolutely stupid.
Yes, I agree. All right, now this one happened, could have covered it last week, but I had to give it time to simmer. The
5-minute rule.
Like a good crock pot meal. Gotta let it simmer.
Is it really? And
I've already gone off on Kendrick Perkins, for him going going and saying that it's racist to give the white player the MVP over the black player. Well, now a new dumbass NBA commentator steps up. We talked about Ja Morant. We talked about him flashing a gun for the second time on an Instagram video, and again, facing a lengthy suspension because the alien is upset.
Well, yeah, having taken the time to personally speak with him, lay everything out, and offer him help, and he completely goes stupid.
Well, there is a former NBA player, now a sports commentator, of course, one JJ Redick, goes ballistic and says, why are we penalizing Ja Morant for showing a gun when the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, is telling his constituents to buy more guns, and we've got public officials in Tennessee taking Christmas card pictures, sending out to their constituents holding guns around a Christmas tree. Why is Ja Morant getting this kind of a double standard treatment?
Well, Mr. Reddick, it's all in the context of everything. Yes, all of that is stupid and should not be happening in Texas and Tennessee. Bad form all around. It's up to the constituents in those places to hold those guys accountable for it. Adam Silver has the chance and is holding accountable NBA players. All of this is absolutely stupid and asinine. Ja Morant is being held accountable because this is his second damn offense after he was told, don't do this. Ja Morant influences millions of kids. The government does not, despite what you may think.
They pander to their constituents and their constituents only.
Exactly.
The NBA is a global business. Texas is Texas. A little podunk community in Tennessee is Tennessee.
I think so. But no, all three are complete dumbasses, and you are a dumbass for not having a brain to figure this out.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think you're right. I think your analysis is very, very spot on. Is that Texas governor is going to speak to his people. And if the majority of them are gun owners, then they are going to want to hear that. It's like if somebody's president of the NRA, they're not going to say, I don't like guns. But the NBA is a different animal altogether. It's a global enterprise. It's a global business. You have an image to uphold and protect. And as you said, children all around the world look up to these players, idolize these players as much as I wish they didn't.
Oh, amen to that.
And the fact that JJ Redick is so bass-ackwards in this analysis, where he wants to call everybody a hypocrite because we shouldn't penalize Ja Morant because of these instances where a government official is pandering using the Second Amendment rights to his particular constituency.
There's talking about having it.
It's apples and oranges is what it is.
You don't go around flashing it if you own one. You don't. No. I'm a gun owner. I have my concealed carry permit. More often than not, I have one on me. You're not going to know it because I don't go waving it around to everybody.
And if it wasn't for this topic, you wouldn't be talking about it.
Exactly. So, in context, it is what it is. If you flash it, whatever you do, it's stupid. You're not a man because you're waving one around. You're a complete dumbass.
All right, finally, our fifth and final entrant for the Red Foreman Dumbasses of the Week, the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers got themselves wrapped up in the whole LGBTQ pride mess. They booted, I believe it was on Pride Night, they booted a group called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, a drag group of men who love to dress up as Catholic nuns, basically an anti-Catholic group of drag queens.
Yeah.
The Dodgers said, no, we don't want you here. You're gone.
People have asked us not to have you here because you are offensive to people.
Well, of course, because, and again, another discussion we had this past Monday night at our quarterly meeting, where I overestimate the percentage of the population. And of course, Aaron came in and said, you're way overestimating this. And he would not be the guy to do this.
Right.
Aaron is actually very liberal compared to me. And when I say 10%, he says, no, it's less than 1%. Yet somehow this group has pull and power beyond anything I think I've ever seen in my life, politically, socially. The Dodgers apologized, withdrew the ban, and are welcoming back the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, this anti-Catholic drag queen group, to Dodger Stadium. And of course, there are people getting beat up in Dodger Stadium's parking lot. I mean, it's just, this is California for you. And Aaron, I'm sorry. I can't believe Aaron thinks California is a great place.
Shame on the Dodgers for not standing their ground and being bullied into backing off their decision.
It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic.
They
bully Hollywood in terms of check boxes on the script. You got to have this group represented. You got to have this group represented. You better, or we're going to what? We're going to put you out of business. They are a terrorist organization. I'm sorry, they are the definition of a terrorist organization. When you threaten people with their livelihood, with violence, you are a terrorist organization. Especially if Aaron's numbers are true, less than 1% of the population is shepherding this. And again, why is it anti-religious groups?
Why are they allowed? Why is anti-religion okay? Why?
We've talked about Jewish hate groups. Now we're talking about anti-Catholic groups. It's okay to hate religion. But God forbid you ever stand up against the LGBTQ community or any race, creed, or color that might perpetuate violence.
The whole world is gone to shit.
But we're not going to shit.
No.
We're just going away for a week. Well, technically not a week.
Just a few days. Tune in for the weekend edition, Saturday morning.
That's right. We will talk about music from the Dave Matthews Band, Ghost, Queens of the Stone Age. We will have a review of Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania. Dave's got a book review.
I've got story time. A special super secret movie that I will drop upon the maestro.
So you do not want to miss that. The weekend edition, always a blast. We shift gears. We go from sports to pop culture. It is your Saturday morning hangover cure, as always. Do not forget to tune in, even though it's a holiday weekend.
It's early Saturday morning. Listen to us while you're mowing the lawn, getting ready.
Yep, because we know you got that extra day at the tail end. You're going to get liquored up even more back then. Sunday night into Monday. Watching the Coca-Cola 600, barbecuing, hanging out with friends and family. So why not listen to the weekend edition if you got an early start Friday night.
There you go.
He's a conquistador, Dave Heights.
He's a maestro, Kevin Crane.
We hope you enjoyed Dumbasses of the Week. Did I go 5 for 5?
Oh, yes. Abso-frickin-lutely.
I would be disappointed if I did not. Dave and I will be right back here, same time next week with our sports. We'll probably be talking about the NBA Finals between the Heat and the Nuggets.
Oh, it doesn't start till June 1st.
Oh, my God, that's right. They built in that it's got to start on this date.
Because we have to make sure if it goes 7, we can't start it early. God forbid.
So the NFL can flex all their shit around.
But the NBA can't pull their heads out of their asses
and
and
move
adapt.
up the start of the finals if you've got a sweep and then a 5-game series.
Yeah.
Does hockey do that too?
I
With
don't
the
know.
Stanley Cup Finals?
I don't know.
Because we're looking at potentially 2 sweeps there.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll fill you in next week, kids. 7 days from now, Sports Frenzy. The sports edition will be right back. But, as Dave said, do not forget to check out the weekend edition in just a few days, Saturday morning. We hope you enjoyed everything. We hope you enjoyed me singing. If you want to hear more of that,
check out the weekend edition as we
our
close out.
With our new closing theme song.
Courtesy of Van Halen.
That's how we look at it, yes. Technically,
but it goes back to
Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers.
Yep, so we love you. Take care. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. If you don't check out the weekend edition, we will talk to you in 7 days with more sports news.
Bye-bye.